The wrestling world is still buzzing from the seismic events that unfolded at WWE's Saturday Night Main Event. What was anticipated to be a thrilling high-stakes clash between two of the industry's top superstars, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, quickly transformed into an unpredictable and chaotic spectacle that has left fans, analysts, and WWE insiders alike questioning what will happen next. The build-up to this match had been months in the making, with both Rhodes and Owens seeking to prove themselves in a contest that would define the future of their respective careers. However, what was supposed to be the crowning moment of the evening quickly took a dark turn that would overshadow everything that came before it. Cody Rhodes, the reigning undisputed WWE champion, entered the ring with the weight of the world on his shoulders. He wasn't just defending his title, he was defending his family legacy. As the son of the legendary Dusty Rhodes, Cody had always been under the immense pressure of living up to the expectations of fans and the wrestling world alike. His championship reign had become a symbol of perseverance, hard work, and the embodiment of the American dream. In many ways, Cody's success had inspired a generation of fans who saw him as the living proof that hard work, no matter how many obstacles one faces, could still lead to triumph. Across the ring stood Kevin Owens, a competitor with a legacy of his own, but one far more complicated. Owens was a man who had long shunned the traditional road to WWE stardom. He wasn't concerned with playing the corporate game or living up to the expectations of others. His career was built on a foundation of defiance, unpredictability, and a willingness to do whatever it took to get what he wanted. Owens had been involved in some of the most brutal and high-profile rivalries in WWE history, from his intense feud with Sami Zayn to his tumultuous time as Universal Champion. However, despite his undeniable talent and ruthlessness, Owens had often found himself on the outside looking in when it came to the truly coveted opportunities in WWE. The match between Owens and Rhodes was billed as a contest of contrasting philosophies and styles. Cody, the heroic champion, represented the ideals of tradition and legacy, while Owens, with his no-nonsense, anything-goes attitude, was seen as a symbol of rebellion against the system. The build-up to the match had seen Owens attack Cody both physically and psychologically, trying to break him down in ways that made it clear he wasn't just interested in the championship. He wanted to crush the legacy of the Rhodes family and everything it stood for. When the bell finally rang, both men gave it their all. The match was a brutal back-and-forth contest, each competitor showcasing their strengths while targeting the weaknesses of the other. Cody's technical ability was on full display as he executed picture-perfect suplexes, high-impact moves, and his devastating crossroads finisher. Owens, however, was unrelenting. He absorbed everything that Rhodes threw at him and responded with a viciousness that had become his trademark. From his brutal strikes to his innovative offense, Owens made it clear he was willing to do anything to win, no matter the cost. Despite the intensity and violence on display, it was Cody who ultimately emerged victorious, his crossroads finisher sealing the win. The crowd erupted into cheers, their admiration for the champion undeniable. Cody had defended his title, but in a moment of pure irony, the victory felt bittersweet. The loud roar of the crowd was quickly drowned out by the sound of Owens' anger-filled scream as he collapsed in the corner, his frustration reaching a boiling point. Owens was not ready to accept defeat, not when so much was on the line. This wasn't just a title match to him. It was the culmination of months of internal strife, a sense of being overlooked and misunderstood, despite all of his past accomplishments. Unable to control his emotions, Owens' fury manifested in an act of violence that shocked everyone in the arena. The moment he stood, Owens delivered a brutal piledriver to the motionless Cody Rhodes, the sound of the impact reverberating throughout the arena. For a moment, there was stunned silence. The WWE Universe, which had been cheering for Rhodes just seconds earlier, was left in disbelief as Owens stood over his fallen opponent. a look of savage satisfaction in his eyes. It was a moment that marked a turning point, not only in the night's events, but in Owens' career. In that single act, Owens had crossed a line that few superstars dared to approach. The piledriver wasn't just a wrestling move, it was an exclamation point on Owens' frustration. The attack was an act of defiance, a statement to both Cody Rhodes and the WWE Universe. It was a reminder that Owens, despite his years of hard work and sacrifice, had never truly been given the recognition he felt he deserved. For Owens, losing to Rhodes was more than just a professional setback. It was a personal affront. In his eyes, the American dream that Cody represented was nothing more than an illusion. A man like Cody, who had inherited so much from his father, couldn't possibly understand the struggles that Owens had faced in carving out his own legacy. For Owens, this moment was about more than just taking out an opponent. It was about taking control of a narrative that had long been out of his hands. As he stood on the entrance ramp, holding the Winged Eagle Championship above his head, a symbol of WWE's ultimate prize, Owens sent a clear message. He was no longer going to be the underdog. He was the man who would do whatever it took to secure his spot at the top, even if that meant tearing down the very foundation of WWE's legacy. The chaos didn't end there, however. In a backstage confrontation that immediately followed the attack, Triple H, WWE's chief content officer, stormed into Owens' path. The weight of the moment was palpable. Triple H, who had built his own legacy in WWE on the back of ruthless ambition, was not about to let Owens get away with this. As an executive, Triple H's responsibility was to ensure that WWE's rules were upheld and that no superstar was allowed to jeopardize the company's values. Owens had clearly crossed a line, and Triple H's reaction was swift. What followed was a tense and volatile exchange, one that saw both men lock horns. Owens, who had always prided himself on being an individual who didn't play by the rules, now found himself face-to-face with one of WWE's most storied figures. For Triple H, the situation was personal. Though he had once lived on the edge of what was acceptable, he had evolved into a figure who demanded discipline and respect. His earlier days in D-Generation X, where chaos reigned and the rules were bent, seemed a far cry from the corporate powerhouse he had become. But was his swift punishment of Owens a reflection of a double standard? Was Triple H punishing Owens for doing what he himself had once done to climb to the top? This tension added a layer of complexity to the confrontation, highlighting the blurred lines between right and wrong in the world of professional wrestling. In the aftermath of the attack, fans were left to process the magnitude of Owens' actions. The WWE Universe was divided, with some fans cheering Owens' audacity and others condemning him for crossing a line that should never have been crossed. For many, Owens' actions represented a villainous turn, a betrayal of the fans who had supported him for years. But for others, this was not a heel turn, but an evolution of character. Owens was no longer the underdog who fought for sympathy and respect. He was a man who had decided to take what he wanted by any means necessary. His actions spoke to a deeper frustration, a feeling that no matter what he achieved, he would always be seen as second tier in the eyes of WWE management and the fans. What followed would determine Owens' future in WWE. Scheduled to compete in a gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw, Owens faced the daunting challenge of taking on 3 of the company's toughest competitors in a single night. The gauntlet match, which was both a punishment and an opportunity, would test Owens like never before. If he succeeded, he could redeem himself in the eyes of the fans and prove that he was capable of rising above his previous actions. If he failed, it could mark the end of his WWE career. The match was an opportunity for Owens to show that his violent actions at the main event were not the result of a man consumed by rage, but the actions of a man willing to fight tooth and nail for his place at the top. As the night unfolded, Owens would have to tap into every ounce of strength, skill, and determination to survive the gauntlet and prove that he still had what it took to thrive in WWE. In the weeks to come, Owens' journey would be defined by the consequences of his choices. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Kevin Owens would never be forgotten. His legacy, no matter how it ultimately unfolded, was already secured as one of WWE's most unpredictable and intense superstars. Whether he would be able to redeem himself and rise above his past actions, however, was a question that would only be answered in time.